Guys, good evening and welcome back. Alright, in today's video I want to show us how to cut a waistcoat, and then don't forget that this is the preliminary to our forthcoming suit training, online training. And then if you are yet to join the suit making online training, kindly do so. Then I'm trying to show us how to cut a waistcoat, and then we are going to see the sewing proper in the paid class of the suit online training. So right here I have my fabric of my choice. Then I am marking out 4 inches here. Now the 4 inches will serve me for my overlapping effect. We are making the double breasted waistcoat. Now mark out 4 inches that way, and then you draw the line to connect in that form. Then make sure that the line is straight as shown. Then draw the line to connect in that form. Then after which you have gotten the line, as you can see the chalk very well. So this is the line, right? Then you apply the length of the waistcoat, usually measured from the waist, from the shoulder measurement to the waist. I have it to be 27, so you mark 27 inches. Then you also mark it 2 times. So now you draw it that way. Make sure you mark twice. Then once you have marked in this form, this will serve us for the length of our waistcoats. Then the next thing you will do now is to mark your chest line. The chest I have is 41.5. Then the measurement is starting from the point of the 4 inches I have. So you mark it that way, and then mark it this way, and as well mark it this way as well. As you can see how I'm marking that way. Then you connect it in this form to go in a straight line. Make sure it's properly connected in that form. Then after which the line goes straight up. Now this serves you for the working measurement, the working area. Then the armhole I'm using, I'm going to slant the shoulder by 3 inches. Now this slanting is going to help us balance the waistcoat properly on the body of your armhole. Balance the clothes properly. Then make sure you slant in this form. You balance it properly this way, and then after which you now calculate your neckline circumference. So I am going to mark 9 inches, that's 4.5 off that way. That will be served for the opening of the waistcoat. And then I will measure armhole from this point. I will use armhole of 11 or 10.75, 11. Alright, so now this is the depth of the opening. I'm making a curvy overlapping waistcoat. Then I use 4.5 inches opening by 11. Then from there I'm making the curve in this form, right? So make the curve in this form. This is going to serve you for the opening of the waistcoat. Then once you have gotten to this stage, you make sure it's properly connected in that way. And then this is how you connect the lines. You can make use of your pattern master or whatever. Then after that you now mark 3 inches for the armhole shoulder connection, right? Then you now look for your armhole measurement of 10.5, and then you now get the point, the center points, and then get the middle points, and then come in by 3 inches as well. Then make the connection to go in that form, right? Then come in that form, and this is the armhole connection that way. And then you go to your down part of your waistcoat, apply the waist measurement. So the waist I had was 40.5, so you apply the waist measurement 40.5. then you mark it in that form, and then you connect in this way. So this is the image or the drafting of your waistcoat. Now the first line we have here is the gap of your overlapping effect, which was 4 inches, and then the next measurement I have was 4.5, which was for the opening effect, and the length is 11 inches, and then the armhole shoulder connection is 3, and then you go in this form. and then apply your waist measurement on the waistline this way. It comes out in this stress form, I will cut now and show you the results. Guys, so as you can see, I'm done cutting it this way. So this is how it comes out, right? So after you must have done it that way, now the next you will do now is to cut the lining for the back, and then of course you're going to gum. So I will take my time to make the video on how to gum this and how to sew as well, and how to achieve the perfect English finishing, and as well send you across to the group. All right, hope to see you in the back cutting. All right, so now this is the lining of my choice. As you can see how fanciful it is, so you must make sure you use a fanciful material in this way. And then we are going to now place to cut the back panel. Now if you notice, I did not add any allowance on the front bodies, so I am going to add all the allowances needed on the back piece of my jacket, of my waistcoat, right? So I place in this form, and then you make sure it's properly arranged. Then you arrange it properly, and then you mark 2.5 inches up there, 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches up there, and then you connect in this form. If you notice, I do not add the length, I just marked exact of 27, which is the length. So you mark it in this form, and then after which you make sure that the both armholes are corresponding, but the drawing should go in a bit slopey or slanted way, as you can see how it is coming out. Then you are to mark the back neckline of 1.5 or 1.7 thereabouts, or 2 inches, right? Depends on your choice. So I'm using 2 inches for the back neck, so you curve it in this form, as you can see how it's being curved, right? Then for the back side, I'm going to add 1 inch there. Now the 1 inch will be used to seal the sides. If you notice, what I used was exact of my chest measurement, there was no inch added. Then connect in this form, and then connect as well the armhole in that form. So I will leave this now and cut for you to know how to go about it. So you cut from there, and then cut all through that way, cut all through that way, cut from there as well, cut out from here. So now as you can see how I'm cutting the outfits, the waistcoats. Take your time as well to watch the video, and don't be in a haste to make this. Watch it 2 or 3 times before you start cutting, right? Then cut 1 inch bigger from the side. Then you watch the length. The length will be a bit shorter. The back will not have the same slope effect. The back will be in a straight line. As you can see how I raise the back up, so the sloping nature will be only applicable only on the front piece, right? So the back will be straight while the front will be slopy. So you cut it in that form, and make sure as well that everything is properly arranged. So this is how the back is being cut. Then after you must have done that, then you have to balance the neck on the shoulder area. So you fold the back piece to come in front that way. Now all of the 3 inches or 2.5 inch you used will be folded in that form. Then try to synchronize the back neck with the front neck. Then cut it out from there. Then cut from there, and then you cross check or you fine tune the neck to go in that form. So this is how your back neck will be. And then after which as well, you check the armhole area. This is how the armhole as well will be. So you try your best to cut it out from there. So cut it out from there, and then this is how the front and the back will be. Make sure they are properly taken care of. It's very important as well. So you trim it out properly that way, and then we have finished cutting the front piece and the back piece, which the back piece happens to be lining, right? So after this now we are going to gum. So the next video we see will be on the gumming of this, and as well the stitching. So please, if you have not joined the forthcoming suit class making, kindly join, because you're going to learn these different designs of these waistcoats, we are going to learn how to cut one-piece suit button, double-breasted button as well. And as well, we're going to learn how to cut one-piece waistcoat, and we're going to give you one of the simplest and easiest ways of explanations and stitching of your suits, your waistcoats, and possibly your shirts as well. Thank you for watching, and don't forget, this is Mr. Redefined. Cut from there. Now I'm trying to cut the inner linings for the back piece. Now you have to just place the back piece that way and you recut. Now you are going to recut exact value of what you have. You are cutting exact piece of this. Now take your time as well. You hold the piece together and then cut the exact neckline. There should be no discrepancies or differences. Cut exact of this, then cut it all through to that form, and then make sure you hold the lining firmly. This is one of the tricks you will use to achieve a perfect result. So cut all through that way, all through that way. Then make sure that the armhole and the center fold are equal here. Then cut all through that way, cut all through that way, then cut all through that way. The reason I'm showing this lining cutting is for you to know how it was cut, so that you have a deep knowledge or a view of how all these things are achieved. So you cut all through that way, and then you also cut from there as well, equal length, right? Cut it equal length, then go all through this way. Then after which we are now going to do the front piece lining cutting. Then I will show you how to achieve an interfacing of same fabric on the front lining, then why we use the interfacing as the real fabric. So because of material, I will use the lining first to draft out the first two piece, while I split it out to join later on to replace with this interfacing of the real fabric for your waistcoats. So I fold in this form and then make sure it's cut out in that form. Then I'm meant to use lining to cut the real piece. Later on I will split it out and then cut the actual fabric at the interfacing at the half of the interfacing area. Then cut exact that way, then make sure it's properly cut, then go all through these points, all through these points. Make sure you have exact cuttings, right? Exact cuttings of this. Then cut from here as well, cut all through that point, cut all through this point as well. So make sure you cut exact value or size of what you are getting. Then cut from here, cut all through, 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 cut all through. Then cut out from here as well, cut all through, cut all through, cut all through, cut all through that way, cut all through, and then cut from here as well, cut all through, cut all through, cut all through, cut all through, cut all through this way. Then now look at what I will do. I will now raise the men's waistcoat up. Now I will bring the fabric, the same fabric I'm using. At this point I might try to invert the stripe, or I might still retain the stripe at the same dimension, and then I will place the stripe at this point and have it in this form, and then I will make sure that the stripe is at the midpoint of the shoulder or the sleeve or the shoulder area this way. So I will record this stripe in this form, and then later on I will now replace and then record the lining. Then I'm recording the interfacing, right, so that when you open up the jacket, the half of the inside will still be the same material that you used in cutting your men fabric, right? So cut it all through that way. It gives you a perfect finishing and a nice result as you are working on your waistcoats. So now I have cut out this form, and then the next I will do now is to slit. I will just put my scissors inwards and slit as shown. Then as you are slitting, you're also making sure that you have the exact value. You don't cut one to be bigger than one. Then you now bring the lining, the one you cut initially for the front piece, for the front panel, place in this form, then place this one on top, and then cut out the lining, and then you are going to join these to make them now form a one piece. So you make sure you cut it out in this form, place it in this form, and then try your best to synchronize it properly in that way. And then you have to cut out. So you place in this form as well. You make sure that the both panels are properly balanced. Then you cut the lining. Then I'm trying to make sure I get the exact value there. So cut the lining to go straight, right? So this is how you're gonna cut it in this form. You might push your hand inwards, half inch inwards, to allow the joining inch allowance. So cut straight up from there, this way, all through that way. So now we are going to join the lesser parts with the bigger parts to form the inner front interfacing. All right, so I hope to see you in the sewing video, and then please make sure you subscribe to the channel, and you make sure you pay for the forthcoming suits training, which we start on the 20th of May 2022, and the fee is 20,000 naira. So once you pay, send your payment evidence to my number, which I will drop in the description box of this video. Thank you for watching, and then the next thing you will see will be on the components of the suit, the wet pocket plackets, and all the rest necessary things we need, which will be shown to us on the sewing aspect. Thank you guys for watching.